I don't want to, like, see your mirror. Okay. Yeah, this is probably, I don't know where you want to put yours.
I guess I can put
Maybe
it
you can put it on top of my
yours.
stuff, yeah, okay.
Yeah, that'll work.
How'd you do that, where you just make your screen go blank?
Oh.
I don't even know how to do
Yeah.
stuff like that.
Do that, yeah,
Oh.
Just let it all the way down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Did you start it?
No.
Oh, yeah. I think,
So you just press the center?
yeah, the center,
Yeah.
center, yeah.
How that works.
Or maybe the space bar would work too.
That should be good, I think. Should I mean, I think that should be good.
Yeah, I mean, you don't
We're
need
not
to
going to be acting out.
Yeah.
Who wants to be in the center?
You.
You can be in there, if you want. Or, I mean.
I don't care. That's just where you're sitting.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Got enough battery? Yeah, it looks like you do.
Should be.
I mean,
You can plug it in.
yeah, because I feel like video and audio and all that stuff coming in might take a lot of energy. Oh wait, I'm number 2 as well. No, I'm just joking.
Oh my God.
Don't do that.
I was like, how did that even happen? You changing, huh?
Yeah, let me just move this. Yeah, that's good.
Is yours already started?
Yeah. I'm not too worried. I think even if we're kind of cut out, it won't be that big of a deal.
It should be fine.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And you have it on the video settings, right?
Yeah.
Cause yeah, it could
I'm
just.
not taking pictures.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright. So do we want to introduce ourselves
That'd be good.
before we get started?
I'm gonna write down who you guys are. Me. Alright. I am Charles, but Madeline Harper's lawyer. Yep.
I am in Barker's lawyer.
And I represent Heidi Clayton.
Okay. Or Marty Clayton. Or,
Well,
no, so Marty Clayton's the person who passed away.
Marty is my was my client's husband. He was killed in this accident.
Yeah.
So, and Heidi's the executor to the state.
Okay.
And I represent Ann Barkus. She's the wife of Howard and mother of Kevin. She's the executor of both of their estates.
Okay. And I represent Madeline Harper, who was injured in the car crash. I suppose you guys know. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Well.
This is really tragic. This
Yeah.
whole incident is
Right.
really
True.
sad.
And I think the most tragic part of that, we have to try and decide how much all of this is going to be worth to these people, and really how much, what number can you really put on this kind of stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
We only have $2 million to play with.
Yeah.
When we had 3 people that were killed,
And
one person who is now wheelchair bound for the rest of her life.
So it is 2 million. So it's 300,000 liability.
right. Well, it's let's see. It covers up to $2 million. So it's, so the company has offered to pay the full $2 million policy. So we just have to decide how it is going to be divided.
We have to, yeah, figure out how to divide that sum of money, because going to trial isn't gonna
Right. So it says here,
do anything for us.
IR has an automobile insurance policy with general insurance and policy limit of 300,000 and liability umbrella policy with general that covers up to. So I guess I wasn't reading that like, I just didn't know what the umbrella meant. If that's like, if it pierced the veil or something.
That was so that we could, I'm sorry, I'm trying to find where I'm reading from, but I
Oh,
think
yeah.
what you're talking about is to get to, the owner, Ben Holman, in order to get to his personal assets.
Oh, okay.
There was some kind of corporate bill that we have to pierce, but his assets only total $30,000.
Right.
So
Wouldn't be.
it's really not worth, I don't personally think it's worth going after him.
Right.
No,
I think it
it's
would
gonna
cost
cost
more.
much more money to
Yeah,
go after
that's where I
him.
was.
Yeah,
Oh, okay, yeah, I found it.
yeah. The company has offered to pay the full $2 million policy,
Okay.
provided that we come to an agreement on how to divide that sum of money and release general insurance, international roofing, and Ben Holman from any further claims arising out of this accident.
Although any further claims wouldn't really get us any money.
Right.
No.
Okay.
So, where do we want to start?
Well, I guess we could talk individually, like each person says a little bit about kind of what their angle and things are.
Okay.
And we just go, I guess, around a circle and then see what happens.
Okay, you know, start.
Okay, so Madeline Harper's training accident happened. She was a upbeat, energetic woman. Lots of love in her life. She did all sorts of things. She volunteered a lot, went to lunch, had lots of friends. I think the general facts stated that she did have a husband who passed away 3 years ago from a heart attack. But ever since then, she's actually been doing everything on her own. She's been filing taxes and taking care of everything. She has one daughter, Bethany. I think that's in the facts, as general facts as well, right?
I don't remember seeing anything about her daughter.
No.
Okay, that's been 18 days. Okay, well anyway, and you know kind of what her expenses were over here.
Right.
I tried to do like a debits and credits sheet over here. I don't know, it's, the accounting person in me wanted to do this, but it's, anyway, the numbers are on here anyway. So, she knows she had some, you know, the car, the house, some stocks. Of course, she's in a wheelchair, and she can't participate in those activities she used to want to do. And, you know, there's some medical things that need to be paid, and then worried about financial security. I mean, I think these are her biggest concerns, covering her retirement home expenses, which I don't think she would have needed. I mean, there's nothing that says she would have needed to have them if this didn't happen. And there's several $1,000s a year in prescription drugs costs. And that's that. I mean, I guess that's kind of a summation.
Does her insurance cover her prescription costs? Do you know?
Her insurance covered, paid Medicare private health insurance, all of 2,000.
Because that was her medical bill.
Right.
From her stay at the hospital, and I know it doesn't, from the facts, it doesn't cover her retirement home.
Right.
Costs, but does it cover, you know, if it covers her prescription medication costs?
Some of which will be covered by the new Medicare.
Okay. You just don't know how much.
No.
Okay. Well, I represent Heidi Clayton, who's the executor of Marty Clayton's estate. She is his wife. Um, Marty was the sole breadwinner of their family. He was the only one working. Last year he made about $33,000. She stayed at home. She stays at home with their 4 children. They have a 5-year-old, a 4-year-old, and twin 2-year-olds who now will grow up without a father.
It's four children.
4 children. Did I say 5 before?
I think
4
you did,
children.
actually.
Sorry, 4 children. So, this is going to be a huge, huge financial burden for her household. They face very, very serious financial challenges as a result of the loss of Marty, not to mention significant pain and suffering from 4 children, 5 years and under losing their father. So Marty was, he didn't earn a lot, but it was enough to cover their mortgage and put groceries on the table. They didn't have many luxuries outside of that. He was actually about to go back and finish college. He was about 10 credits away from earning his college degree, which would have resulted in a promotion to management and double his salary. So now their biggest concern at this point is, being able to afford the mortgage, and Heidi's concerned about how she's gonna raise her children alone and put her children through college in the future. So Marty did not have life insurance. They had a very small savings. There's some medical expenses that need to be paid for, but the biggest issue is that now that there's no income in the home, Heidi's going to have to most likely go back to work, which is going to result in some major additional costs because she has children that are not school age, and she's going to have to put those children in daycare. And the question is she going to be able to have income enough to cover the daycare plus living expenses for a family of 5? So it's a very difficult situation for my client at this point. And hopefully we can figure out a way to help her.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, I represent Anne. Anne lost her husband, Howard, as well as her 8-year-old son, Kevin, in this accident. Kevin has a twin sister, Sheila. For Anne and Sheila, the biggest loss has been an emotional loss. It's always traumatic to lose a spouse, but it's unimaginable to lose a child, especially a young child. And for Sheila, to lose a twin who they're just completely connected to in every way. Since the accident, Anne and Sheila have had to go into extensive therapy, and Anne is starting to see some developmental things in Sheila, who's an 8-year-old, that she fears will result in a detrimental impact on Sheila's future. She really thinks that her daughter's grief might prevent her from excelling in school and developing some kind of healthy self-image and forming bonds with others. She's working now. She works at a hospital, but she is considering either cutting back her hours or altogether quitting her job in order to provide care for Sheila, and at least until Sheila graduates from high school, to really make sure, because and that's the extent of her fear of Sheila's development now that they've lost so much of their family. You know, Howard had a very profitable job comparatively, and you know, he had just been promoted 2 years prior to partner at his law firm, and he was starting to move up in the ranks, and he was very hardworking, and Anne tells me all the time that she knows that within, you know, 5 years he would have been at the top end of their partner scheme. When you think about, you know, yes, my client works, however, you know, the loss of wages, loss of earning that their family is suffering from is immense, because Howard was, just last year, had earned $225,000, up $25,000 from the previous year, and the partners at his firm were earning anywhere up to $500,000, and any kind of promotion from where he was would have had an increase in his salary. Howard was 40 years old, and they were planning for him to work until he was 70. He would retire in his 70s. So when you make that calculation of 30 years worth of work at that kind of salary, I mean, it's a huge number, especially taking into consideration that Anne is now concerned that she might have to either cut back her work or completely quit her job in order to provide the kind of support that her daughter needs. So obviously all of us have compelling stories and you know, clients that we're all interested in helping, and I think each of us are interested in helping each other's clients. But this is just going to be really hard because everybody has a reason for why we're here. So I do think it's helpful though to hear kind of the details. It really helps me kind of get a grasp for what y'all are dealing with on your end, to hear the details of what your clients were looking for and what they were going through after the accident. So I guess the first thing to obviously consider is an even distribution of the $2 million, just to start.
What would that be? That'd be like
1/3.
One third.
Right.
2 divided by 3.
I did the math. It seemed like, so 33.3%, which is 1/3 of 2 million, came out to me to be 660,000.
Okay.
So that's just, let me do my math again because I am a law student. It's actually a little bit more than that. It would actually be 666,000. And I'd say obviously because there's 3 parties. So if I just was saying that would be a good place to start. If we're saying even distribution, that would be probably where we would end up. However, I know that's probably not where we're going to end up. So if y'all have any thoughts about where to go from there.
Well, I know I personally wanted to get more for my client because of the situation that she's in. Looking at the breakdown of finances for all the parties, she's definitely in the worst position. Because, you know, even if she has to go back to work, the last time that she did work was about 2 years ago, and she only made $35,000 a year in that position. And if she were to go back to work full time, she would have to put 3 children in daycare, which can be anywhere from $500 to $800 a month per child, which could be more than what she makes in a year for daycare expenses, not to mention her mortgage expenses, and then, you know, all food, clothing, utilities, things like that, which are gonna end up being significantly more than what she's gonna be earning based on her previous earnings. And then I did the math for your client as well to figure out at least what her retirement home expenses would be. So your client is about 72 years old, my understanding.
Yeah, that sounds right.
She has some income that will last her for the rest of her life from her Social Security and pension.
Right. How old is she actually?
I think she's 72.
Good question.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 72, right. So.
It may sound mean, but the average life expectancy for a woman in the United States is about 81 to 82 years old.
Well, actually, there is some info in here that her parents lived up to their early 90s, and the doctors didn't say that the injury would affect her lifespan. So, I mean, I was trying to do the math, so like 45,000 a year, right? And then that's like 900,000 if she lives 20 years.
Right.
You know, so, although I thought she was 70, but anyway, so it could be a little less. But I mean, and then so we could minus like.
She does have some assets,
right.
And she has a home that's paid for. It's worth $180,000. But if she's not going to be living in that home anymore, then there's the possibility that she could sell it.
Right.
And then she has some stocks, bonds, and other things that are valued at about $60,000, I believe. And then I know she does have some expenses left over from the accident.
Like the car.
But, well, the car is money she should get back, isn't it, right? Like she has a total, her car was totaled and it was worth $6,200. So is that money that she should receive from her insurance company?
Is there anything in the facts that?
Well, the money from the totaling of all three vehicles would come from the insurance policies of the
person holding that insurance policy.
No, it would come from this insurance company that's giving us the $2 million.
So
it would come through her insurance, but it would come from.
We have to deduct that from the overall $2 million.
Yeah, the blue book value of each car, if that's
that makes sense. And then looking at your client's expenses, she works and has a pretty decent income.
Right, but there's also the consideration that now, because of this.
This is me.
Right, I have it all.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Because of this, she won't be making that much money anymore.
Is that guaranteed though?
Yes.
Like she's saying that she's gonna
either cutting back or quitting altogether because of the traumatic emotional distress that her young daughter has gone through. So she also, mortgage payment for the full year, her mortgage is going to cost her $28,800.
But she got $500,000 in life insurance, $250,000 in personal insurance, and an additional $10,000 in personal life insurance, or life insurance on her son, which equals out to $760,000, which she could use to pay off her house completely and her student loans, where she would have absolutely no debt,
right.
And still have money left, quite a bit of money left over.
Right.
She would have over $400,000 left over.
But is $400,000 enough money to live on for you and your 8-year-old daughter for the rest of your life? No.
So, but I guess my question is, if your client is given the luxury of staying at home to take care of her daughter and her
luxury,
needs.
though. It's a need because her daughter has suffered severe emotional distress over losing her twin brother and her father. It's not a luxury for my client to have to quit her job.
But if she gets that, then why should we even be discussing my client having to go back to work at all? Because she got 4 children who lost their father before the age of 6.
Right, but just because we're splitting a lump sum of money does not mean that what my client has to do and what your client has to do should match. Because your client's situation is your client's situation, and my client's situation is my client's situation.
Right.
And I don't think we should have to compare. I think my client would love to be able to still have her husband and her son there and still be able to go to her job, which she obviously loves to do. And I think your client would love to be able to still have her husband and still be able to stay home with her kids. I don't think that's... I don't like where this comparison is going. Because I think that there's a bit of prejudice underneath it because the situations are so opposite.
But the fact is that your client's still going to be able to provide for her child, even without receiving $666,000. She's still going to be able to provide for her child for quite a while without any assistance from anybody else, because she's going to have all this money left over from life insurance policies.
My client also lost her husband as well as her son in this. My client has lost the most from this. My client has lost...
No, I think you could argue, because this woman over here has lost, she's wheelchair bound for the rest of her life. She can't even walk. And my client has lost her husband and the sole breadwinner of her family. And if she were to go back to work, she's going to make less than a teacher and have to support a family of 5.
Right, and I'm not trying to belittle what your client has lost, but I do want to reiterate again that just because my client has money in the bank does not mean that she has lost less or should for some reason receive less from this settlement when she lost 2 of her family members, one of which was an 8-year-old son.
But you said that her biggest loss is emotional. And how do you put a price on emotional loss?
Right, but
my client's biggest loss is
loss.
financial. So, and that's what I'm here to put some kind of dollar amount on what she's lost.
That's what I'm here to do too.
So how do you put a price on emotional loss?
Well, I told you she's now going to lose her salary. She's lost, well, if we do the math, if we consider the range $225,000 a year to $500,000 a year for the next 30 years, the loss of earnings for my client's husband is between $6.75 million and $15 million. So if you want to put a price on it, we can certainly do that.
But that's not an emotional loss, that's a financial loss. You
Right.
said your client's biggest loss is emotional.
My client,
so
yes,
she wants to be
losses.
emotionally whole.
There are also financial losses, that's very obvious. I think your client has suffered emotional loss as well.
Right.
And I think your client has suffered emotional loss as well. What I said wasn't determinative. I only reiterated the fact that we're all dealing with very sensitive situations here in which people lost lives or lost an aspect of their own lives.
I just don't think splitting it equally 3 ways
What would you say
is going to benefit my client enough, because, I mean, this is like, you might as well just dig a hole, because this is devastating financially for her. And even though $666,000 is a lot of money, and she can do a lot with that, she's got really young children that, it's only going to last so long, and then she's not gonna be able, she's gonna have a really hard time supporting them until adulthood by herself.
So you were just saying that the 666,000 wouldn't be enough for your client?
I mean, I just, I understand everybody's lost a lot, but, she's got 4 kids to raise to adulthood, and her youngest are twins who are 2. So she's got 16 years left to raise until they are adults, and if she has to go back to work, she could be spending upwards of $38,000 a year on daycare for the next couple of years until they get to be school age.
You said one of them is 5, right?
Right.
School when you're 5.
Right, but she still has 3 others that aren't school age.
So we can not consider the 5-year-old.
And I didn't in my calculation. Just for her home, the yearly expenses are $27,600. And even if she were to sell her home, she's not going to make much of a profit. She's really not going to make anything off of it. And then to move into an apartment is going to probably cost her just as much as what her mortgage costs at this point. To have an apartment big enough for a family of 5.
So what are the numbers you guys are looking for?
Well, I don't think I'm ready or my client is ready to accept anything under at least an equal share. I mean, that's just absurd to say that someone who, from this one instance, lost half of their family, including a child, should receive anything less than an equal share of the settlement. I think that's absurd.
Well, what do y'all think about kind of like the laws that we were given here? We got court cases, pain and suffering, medical expenses, wrongful death.
Well, I think considering those, they all state that any insurance, life insurance, health insurance policies, any recovery should not reduce damage awards. So, I mean, I think if we're going to consider these, which we would face if we would go to litigation,
Right.
then we should disregard any insurance recoveries at all, which we all have some in each of our instances.
I don't.
You don't have any medical insurance recoveries?
Well, there's medical insurance.
Yeah, it was actually
nothing else.
Actually, it was
all you have is medical insurance, and you still have the deductible. They still have a deductible to pay.
Right, but it covered $84,000. I don't know. Charles, what do you think?
I mean, yeah, I agree that we shouldn't go to trial because litigation is not particularly feel attorney for the plaintiffs.
Yeah, not
No
in that
assets. I'm just trying to think of the facts over here. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't seem like we have any recourse. Eddie has disappeared, right? And, so it really seems like there is just like 2 million. I mean, that's worth assuming. I mean, I was always skeptical about this area right here. IRS and automobile insurance policy with general insurance and with policy limit of 300,000 and liability umbrella policy with general that covers it above 300,000 up to 2 million.
Right.
So, but it's offered to pay the full 2 million.
Right.
And I guess what we're down to is, it's rough because it's only 2 million.
Yeah, it's not enough.
Yeah, that's true.
They all each deserve more than that.
Right.
Each person does, for sure.
So, I mean, what do you all think would be the most equitable way to kind of divide all this stuff? I mean, we have emotions and we have numbers and emotions as in like emotional impact and stuff and things like that. I'm actually looking, at my confidential facts. I'm just trying to find something that might be, relevant. I mean that it's all relevant, but I mean, as you know, there's pain medication, there's wheelchair walks, and she kind of was just under a wheelchair. So I mentioned my main concerns are covering her retirement home expenses and the several $1,000s in a year in prescription drug costs, some of which will be covered by Medicare. Well, it doesn't mention how much, so that's not helpful. But I don't know. What do you guys? What were your main concerns? I forgot if you mentioned them. Like, do you have like 2 top or 1 top one?
Like for our clients, I mean, my main concern is just her ability to support her family.
Okay.
And without losing her house, and she's concerned about paying for the house and putting food on the table, and she would like to be able to provide some kind of college funds for her children, if possible. That was going to be their plan, was to save for college for their 4 children.
Okay.
At this moment, it's not looking good for them.
What do you think?
Well, obviously there's the consideration that my client is going to either cut back on her hours or leave her job entirely, so she'll lose not only her husband's earnings, but she'll most likely lose most or all of her own in order to care for her daughter, in order to make sure her daughter has a bright future, and she should. And of course, the other thing is just being compensated for the loss of her son and her husband, which is hard to put a number on, obviously, but a number should be placed nonetheless.
what is your expected, for your client, what is her expected cost for her retirement, or if you have a range? Like I calculated 9 years. And it was like 405.
Well, I mean, like I mentioned, her parents lived up to their 90s, and I mean, my confidentials say Madeline could live for 20 or 30 more years. So, I mean, you want to provide for her.
Absolutely.
But, I mean, so I kind of, you know, consider, I was trying to do the math here. Got like 45,000 times 20. I got that to be 900,000. Then you can take away like 12,000 a month, which is I got it to be 14,400 a month. You take that away.
What is that?
So that's 886.
Well, what's the 14,000?
So she gets 12,000 a month, and then you multiply that by 12.
She's 1,200 a month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, you can check my math. I think it's like 24. You throw that in there.
She gets like 1,500 back from pension a month as well, but.
Right. No, I didn't have that here.
So she gets 2,700 a month.
Right.
Between the two. Which doesn't cover the cost of her retirement home expenses per year. So where do we want to go from here?
Well, here's an interesting thing. Sort of, well, anyway. In making Madeline's case, you should keep in mind pain and suffering she had endured. I don't know if you guys have seen what led her up to this, the loss of quality of life and the uncertainties surrounding future costs of her care and her ability to defray them. Madeline could live for 20 or 30 more years, and while she can expect her income to increase only slowly, the cost of nursing care will probably increase much faster. It has increased at an annual rate of inflation of 7 to 12% over the last decade. Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I'm just trying to throw out all the facts on the table, and what that reference was to her salary potentially increasing. It was, I think it's like 0.2%.
The pension?
Oh yeah. Her pension has a 2% annual cost of living adjustment. So I'm not exactly sure what that means, but I guess it increases.
Your cost of living increases,
Yeah.
I guess.
Right.
Yeah, obviously. But it's not gonna cover her monthly, the cost monthly of living in that retirement home.
Well, so I think I've kind of told you all what my expenses are. Like, this is how much, well, actually, I don't even know if I have. So we got the 45, 12,000 a month, 1,500 a month, not 12,000, 1,200. I don't know.
I mean, I pretty much put everything up on the table about my client's expenses, and she doesn't have an income. Maybe she owes $100,000 on her mortgage. She has $4,000 in savings. She has a retirement, an individual retirement account with $9,000 in it, and $3,000 in credit card debt. And her husband died with no life insurance. That's it. He has the potential to earn double what he was earning. He's almost there. So he has 29 credits to get his degree, and then he was going to be moving into management. So he'd be making over $60,000 a year after that. And that was all, going back to school was all the energy of his company. So they were completely behind him, and that was going to happen for him. There wasn't any maybes about it. So.
Well, I suppose if we're not satisfied with the splitting equally in thirds, another way to look at it is to look at, the $2 million is to be settlement for the 3 lives and 1 partial, I guess I would categorize it as partial loss of life because she's now lost at least half her life. So $2 million on 4 people is really how I'm seeing it, because the $2 million is to be put towards those 4 losses. So that's another way to think about an equal distribution, would be to split it among 4 people.
I was actually going to ask, so did any of your situations, do they do charity or anything, or, I mean, or what kind of, are you a doctor? Is your client a doctor?
She's a pediatrician.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. She goes to training.
I'm just trying to think if we can maybe come up with some sort of creative solution, you know what I mean?
Right.
I've heard of other, negotiations with a pianist and a doctor got together and do like some charity, so I'm just trying to see it.
Right. Well,
is there anything like you guys have noticed that's in common with all of us that maybe all our clients, I don't know, with one of those foundations like neighborhood or anything?
no, there's not.
Is there
My client is a pediatrician. Not
is your
sure.
client?
She's a stay-at-home mom.
Oh, okay. Alright, yeah.
She was a secretary before she had twins, and they started to
I wonder
be a
if
stay-at-home mom.
our client could work out something. My client is a pediatrician, and like I said, I'm not sure if she will remain her full-time position or if she'll put her job together, but if we could work something out to where my client, obviously she can't do free medical assistance with your children because I don't know if there's any laws restricting that or anything like that. But if within the realms of the law, if my client could provide some kind of value to your client in caring for your children if they have any medical needs, because I know with little kids, those doctor's bills are probably one of the most expensive things that you're encountering. I'm just really not very good at math, and if there was some way for us to determine.
Is there any indication, like, are your kids in schools or something?
Yeah. That's the only thing I could think of from what you said.
Well,
I'm coming in here, I'll just put a number out there. Coming in here, I was gonna ask for $1 million for my client. Based on the fact that your client is getting a lot of money in life insurance, and she has a job that pays a lot more than what my client has ever had.
She also has a very different lifestyle than your client does. She lives in a different area. She has property taxes under $6,000 a year.
But her life insurance, the life insurance money can pay off her mortgage, all the debt that she has. And then she's still gonna have over $400,000 left.
Right, but it's not our
choice. Which my client lives off of less than that in a year.
It's not our choice to dictate how our clients use their money. It's our decision here to decide, it's our job here to decide how this money is going to be split up. And $1 million, for your client to receive half of it, is no, I won't agree with that.
So, that was going to be my number. That's what coming in here, that's what I was going to ask for. So.
yeah.
Well, I've already said it, but my reservation point is, an equal third. I won't take anything else from an equal third. What do you think?
I kind of need some, like, caffeine. Can I come back? Hey, okay. I need to look stupid or something.
Okay.
I'll be back.
Okay.
Should we stop the recording?
No, just leave it alone. I'll be back. I'm sorry. I'll be back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Couldn't agree more. We're gonna edit this part out.
You don't do that.
We're not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do any part of this part.
just the whole lives involved in the rest of the lives of a lot of families.
Mm-hmm.
This company needs to do a better job.
This company needs to go down. They need to go down.
They need to do a better job of vetting who they're hiring.
Well, it was
Driving 60 miles an hour and 40 while it's pouring down rain.
I think we should pursue criminal charges.
I do too. Manslaughter. Involuntary manslaughter.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, I guess. Depending on what the jurisdiction is.
No, can't be one of those. And those people are still gonna work on this one.
So,
Hire a private detective to find him.
Is that $2 million, does it release him? No, it doesn't release him.
No, it doesn't.
It only releases
just the owner.
Yeah, so we could do the steer and then they bundle ourselves together.
That guy's probably insolvent though.
I'm not looking for money. I'm gonna find him and then we're gonna press criminal charges against him.
Yeah.
Justice will be served.
Yeah.
No idea. His last name is Angel.
I'm sorry, being difficult.
No, I'm kidding. I know I have to be.
But I have to be too.
Well, that's what
I don't have to be, but well, it kind of alludes to that.
No, mine literally tells me. Well, she loves us and she stays the vast majority.
That's what mine says. Mine thinks that she's entitled to 4 times more than your client. Even mention this one. I guess because you're the only one that had someone else die.
Yeah.
I feel bad for this lady, but I don't think she's gonna live 20 years. He's gonna watch this. I don't know how to edit it. I don't know how to edit this stuff. So I don't know how to edit this stuff out.
Well, she's recording on 2 different. So, she's golden. I don't know if I'm gonna be in that one. I don't think I am. Sitting like this, you were sitting like this. I don't think I'm
so. You're in mine. We've been doing all the talking.
Yeah, this is probably fun, but
yeah, it is. Like, these girls have their cat right. This is a horrible situation.
yeah.
There's actually this lady you think of my sister in real life, like if her husband were
like that would be
killed, if her husband would Matthew were to die. I mean, she doesn't have 4 kids, but she has 3.
Yeah.
And she's a stay-at-home mom, and he doesn't make, and he makes more than 33, but not much more. I don't know how much he makes. He's a cop, so not much. But it made me think of that, and I was just like, if you really get killed and they have like those babies, and no life insurance policy, so I'm thinking maybe like have one for him. I don't know.
Alright. Sorry. I got so.
Okay.
Yeah, my foot.
Did you come back with a number?
Oh yeah, I was gonna say 1/3. I thought I already said that.
You want 1/3 too?
Yeah.
Honestly, with this situation and these 3 situations, I don't know any other way to qualify to put a number on it, other than to just say thanks for.
I was trying to think we could come to something creative. Then maybe
Yeah.
we could cut back on some of the numbers.
Right.
But maybe.
I don't know how we can do that.
Yeah. I would be open to that. I just don't see.
Yeah, I
how
would
it
be
can happen.
too. I would be totally open to that, but I don't know how we could do that. Just the value, the blue book value.
What is Blue Book?
The Kelly Blue Book,
Like, the resale value of your car.
it's an organization that determines based on, how old, what's the condition, the value of each car, and they have it for every car in the world. So it's like a neutral third party assessment. My client's husband's car was for $27,000.
What do you think about this? Do you have the scratch start on doing artwork?
Yes.
What do you think that means?
I think it's just the name
The
change.
typo.
Well, what I think is we come to an agreement about the money, and then we hunt down Mr. Angel and try to impress.
Emily comes to see him.
Well, we would have done that possibly.
Well, right, but
We will pull some strings at the DA's office.
I think that's something worth pursuing in this kind of situation.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm sure like the authorities are pursuing it or something. I mean, my facts don't really speak to that.
No.
It just says Eddie Angel has left the state, whereabouts unknown, and he almost certainly has no substantial assets, which I really do care about that. I mean, unless he has them, I would care.
Eddie's trip.
He was driving 60 miles an hour in a 40
Mm-hmm.
while it was pouring down rain.
I'll leave it out.
Yeah, you would think someone would drive more carefully when they're in a work vehicle. Considering it's not their vehicle and they're on the job.
Yeah.
And this settlement does not release him from
No.
anything, from any liability. Or further liability. No, it doesn't. It doesn't name him.
The insurance, IR, and Ben Holman, who's the owner. But it wouldn't release him. Well, here it says we can either agree to how to advise or continue to prosecute the individual suits, but I think that's only concerning the company and the owner of the company.
Do you think
I want to get my hands on that additional $30,000 the owner had.
I don't know how we could do that.
His personal assets. I feel bad for him, but
have you all
you need to do a better job at training your employees to follow the law, friend.
Are you guys are 2Ls, right?
Yes.
Okay. You taking VA or?
No.
Yeah, I've heard it's real. Well, in VA they told us it was really difficult to pierce the benefit veil. So.
Who's protected with it? Is it an owner? I don't know if is it an LLP? Is it an LLC?
It doesn't.
No. Oh, it's
The company.
It's a company. Okay. So
It's not a very big company. He works at his home.
well,
He only has two trucks, employees. 3 used pickups.
that's good. Well, not anymore.
2 now. $50,000 worth of equipment and supplies. I wonder if we could get free roofs for life out of this guy for our client.
I don't think my client
Your
wants to
client
do
doesn't.
that anymore.
Your client doesn't need that, but maybe he could provide the retirement home free for
I mean.
forever.
I don't think my client wants to see this person or this company ever again.
I'm just trying to be creative here.
Yeah. Maybe he could give us the 2 used pickup trucks since we don't have vehicles anymore.
Yeah.
Okay.
My client might take one.
I think mine would too.
It's gonna be hard for her to buy a new car. Poor thing.
So you said 1/3.
Yes, I did. I mean, I think the problem is that we're all on kind of like uneven, like one scales here, and then but we kind of want to come to a solution.
Mm-hmm.
And really, it's kind of the only thing that would really profit us at all.
Yeah.
And then emotion, it's very difficult to quantify it. But anyway, and I think that's just it'd be very difficult to come to a solution with that, like emotional suffering and things like that. But and then it'd be difficult also to come to a solution in regards to like because we have like the Barcus family, they have it's just different in Clayton family. And then like this Hartford isn't even I mean it's just kinda hurt, you know what I mean? So it's all kinda uneven. So this whole time I've been trying to figure out how can we make this even. Like how can we find something that's like in common? Seems difficult.
Right.
So the reason I threw out 1/3 is because I think like 660,000. I mean, it's not going to hit up the entire amount that she kind of needs, even after deducting all these amounts. But I think because I was trying to do math, like 45,000. Or wait, yeah, so 45,000. It's I don't know. So I mean, it's better than nothing. So and then you don't want to like I feel like if I was sitting in like your shoes, or one of those, it's like one person takes 10,000, a couple thousand, so it seems fair. So it's just kind of it's interesting.
And the harder part is knowing what our client will and won't and trying to work within what we've been told to work within. And I think if it left to us, we would come to a much better agreement, but it's kind of up to our client.
Right, especially your clients, like give them that, because I didn't get that.
No amount, no number.
Even though I want more for my client than 660. That's a lot of money. Is that what they're 666? What is it?
So, yeah, or maybe it's
Something like that.
It's 66. Let's see. I'm gonna do it on what am I doing? $666,666,666.67
$0.67.
Right, because you have to round it up because there's a million sixes after
So
the
someone's
decimal.
gonna get a penny.
It should be you.
It's a lot of money, and for the sake of getting to an agreement. It is the most equitable thing to do, to divide it 3 ways.
Okay, two people are going to get $666,666.67, and one person is going to get 60.
Yeah.
So one person has one listing in order for it to make it an equal $2 million.
Okay.
If that's what we decide we're going to do.
Okay. I mean, I don't think we're.
I'm not going to fight over a penny.
Yeah.
with that?
I guess we've got an agreement.
Yeah, and I guess we could just continue to pursue Eddie, I mean, if something comes up where we can pierce the veil.
I'm offering my pro bono services to my client,
Well,
finding Eddie.
Nice.
The thing is, at this point, if we make this decision and say we're going to take the $2 million and split it, then we can't pursue the personal assets of the owner at all. The only thing we would be left to do would be to pursue Eddie in any kind of criminal, in any way that we could. I don't even know that we really could, because of our position. So, because he's gone.
So, this owner needs to get more insurance on his company.
We could, however, I mean, I think we could put insurance on the Better Business Bureau. And then the local community will already know.
Yeah, that's good.
And,
Well,
He may not have everything, because his team doesn't know what to figure it out.
well,
Yeah. Poor guy. But,
okay.
well, should we write out, like, what the bills are?
Yeah.
So we can, so we're splitting it all 3 ways. Maybe one person writes it, and just do it as it is.
I'm just writing 100% since I'm writing
Okay.
Oh.
Divide the 2 million into 3 parts.
So, $6,666,000, $666,666.67 for the Madeline Harper.
I feel like this is a really unlucky number.
It absolutely is. It absolutely is. It's hard to say. But we're paying, something.
What kind of activities was your lady into before this accident?
Upbeat, energetic woman with a love life. No, love life, sorry. Okay.
I was gonna say, you ruined her love life. That's a big deal.
She liked to go out to lunch, go for walks, and go to movies with friends. She was active in a number of community and charitable organizations. She took care of herself after her husband passed away, learned about family and facts. Yeah, it sucks for everyone. It really does. I wish there was like another way. I feel like it will work. I don't think it's guaranteed. There would be other ways to. So that's it, divide it, and then let's try to make something good.
So because she's 72, she can't have her head fixed.
They said it was irreparable.
Yeah, that's somewhere in here it said that she
I'm
was.
not gonna lie, my 86-year-old grandmother just had her knee replaced.
It says
She's like all over the place now. And she needs to have the other one replaced, and she maybe she could run a marathon. But she walks a lot better than she used to.
somewhere.
Hip replacements are really hard. So.
Right. this is your hip, right?
Yeah.
So you take the bone out and put a new one in?
They have, yeah,
Mhm.
there's a
Like
metal sometimes. Yeah.
You can either have a full hip replacement or partial.
And they literally have something that's molded to the shape of that same bone, and they just.
My other grandmother had a hip partial. She fell and broke her hip.
Yeah, mine.
But she
Yeah.
didn't want to do therapy, so she never walked again, but that was her thought. So, she
It's like we're bionic.
she only,
Yeah.
and for her quality of life plummeted after that.
So what have you been doing these days?
I mean, continue to pursue.
Yeah,
editing,
I mean, I still said
continue.
that. That coward angel.
Oh wait, is that the guy who ran away?
Yeah.
Oh, Eddie Angel. Is that nice?
Or girl. Hopefully that
Hers
way,
is
right?
really
Whatever.
I was writing
You
notes.
guys need to help me.
I was in that trial. I was writing notes to my co-counsel, sliding them over during the trial, and he looked at me. Can't read your writing. I'm like, I've
That's
taken
funny.
you notes for the last 30 minutes, and you've done nothing, and you can't read my writing.
Oh yeah, I saw you over there, right?
Or.
Remember I went in and got water bottle?
Oh yeah, the intramural. Yeah.
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 I actually had ADR practice. Transfer.
Oh.
Good luck.
You've done it before, right?
No, I've been a mood coordinator too. Yeah, let's check if we can full time.
Oh, I'm sure we
sure.
have.
It's almost 5 o'clock.
Oh yeah, 1 hour and 18. All right, we're good to go. Alrighty, well, thank you very much for meeting. It's been fun.
Yes, thank you.
So we can see.
Yay.
And then 6 minutes.